Hello and welcome to this short video tutorial. For question 31 and 32, we're going to be using what are called systems of equations. That means anytime we have two variables, two unknowns, we have to find a way to kind of combine them or eliminate a variable so that we have one equation with one variable, one unknown. So what we have here is we have V final equals V initial plus A times T. Then in our second equation, we have V final squared equals V initial squared plus 2 times A times delta X. So what we're going to try is we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of substitution here, okay? Now, I don't know what A is because it's not part of my list of variables here. I don't know what A is. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to substitute out A so we can kind of eliminate it. So I'm going to take this equation here, I'm going to solve it for A. So V final equals V initial plus A times T. If you remember from lesson 1, to solve for A, you would have to get rid of V initial and T. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract V initial from both sides, just like that. Okay, now if I do that, I get V final minus V initial equals A times T. Now I can go ahead and divide both sides by T, and I get a value for A, which I'm going to write blue, is V final minus V initial over T. Now I'm going to take this, which I have highlighted in blue, and I'm going to substitute it right there in place of A in the second equation. So this is going to go right there. So I get V final squared equals V initial squared plus 2, I'm going to write big parentheses there because I got a lot to substitute there, and then in parentheses I'm going to write my substitution, V final minus V initial over T, okay, and then multiply that times the delta X on the outside. So if I kind of clean this up a little bit, okay, here's what I sort of end up getting. Now ultimately I want to try and solve for T. That's what number 32 is asking me to do, is solve for T. So let me kind of clean this up a bit, all right? So first I'm going to combine the two AX, and I'm going to subtract V naught squared to both sides. So that's actually my first step, is I've got to subtract V naught squared to both sides. And if I do, I get V final squared minus V initial squared equals 2 times A times X. Now I'm just going to rewrite these by putting the 2 times delta X together. Okay, so I'm just going to rewrite this. Let me just move this over. And I'm going to move that over there, just like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a switcheroo to solve for T. I'm gonna switch T with the other side of the side here, and I get T by itself is equal to 2 times delta X, okay, times V final minus V initial, all over V final squared minus V initial squared. Now you could kind of leave it like this, but you could also simplify it and make your life a little easier. This actually factors into what's called the difference of two squares. 2 times delta X, and then on top we have V final minus V initial. On bottom, you would rewrite this as the factor, the difference of two squares factor, which would be V final minus V initial times V final plus V initial. And you can see by writing it that way, this cancels with this, leaving you with that expression there, which would be essentially T equals 2 times delta X divided by V final plus V initial. And at that point, just plug in your numbers and we're done. So 2 times delta X. Well, delta x is going to be 12 meters. Okay, now v final is going to be 2 meters per second. And v initial is going to be 4 meters per second. So you can see what we're doing math-wise. It's pretty easy. We're going 24 divided by 6, in which case we get a time of 4 seconds. Okay, again, rewind the video and pause it at various points as you need to. Okay, hope you found this video tutorial to be helpful. Thank you. That is all.